Choosing the correct tool for the job can really help set you up for success. So let's take a look at the various viscosities that are offered in the Liquitex color ranges. The first one is Liquitex Soft Body, and that was from 1956, and Heavy Body, the thicker viscosity, in 1963. And if I just tilt that, you can see that they both have a satin sheen to them. Liquitex Acrylic ink that came out in 2008 on a watercolor paper like this has more of a watercolor-like consistency or appearance. And then we have acrylic gouache that's very opaque and matte, and that came out in 2018. But let's take a look at each one of these wet so we can see their characteristics a bit more. The first one I'll show again is Liquitex Soft Body. We've got this jar that has this nice nozzle on it. It's got a white cap, and actually if we take this off, you can see that it's got flat sides here. So you can get a palette knife all the way down in there and get all of that paint out. I like that so that you're not wasting any color. It's 116 colors in this range and a low viscosity. And I want you to remember that viscosity is just another term for how thick or thin something is. So I'm just gonna tap this on the surface. And you'll see that moves down a little bit, but not a whole lot. But watch this, I can spread it out and it just really spreads. You get great coverage out of that. Very subtle brush strokes if you are using a brush. And then we look at Heavy Body. So this is a thicker viscosity. This happens to be a vivid red orange, where this one was our fluorescent orange. Now, let's do that same thing with tapping this once again. And the Heavy Body, you'll see, that doesn't even really move at all. It's a much thicker viscosity. So when I say choosing the correct tool for the job, if you're somebody who doesn't want to show a lot of brush strokes, you might like the Soft Body, but you want to get thicker. See, we can really get peaks to that. Great for palette knife painting. Of course, using a brush and showing more brush strokes to it. It's really great for doing that. You know, if you pile on the Soft Body, you're really never gonna get quite as thick as this. We can add mediums to change that, and that's a little bit of a different topic we'll talk about later. But I wanna show you ink next. And ink has 35 colors to it. Or actually 50 colors we have in ink now. And we put this out, and this is very, very low viscosity. So this is almost like water. I barely have to even move this. Watch. That's just gonna wanna roll right down the surface. Really highly pigmented. And this is acrylic based rather than dye based or alcohol like a lot of other inks. So it's really just a different viscosity of our Heavy Body and our Soft Body here. And a lot of times when we're talking about the Heavy Body paint, people will think that the ink and the Soft Body are watered down versions of Heavy Body, and that's not true. It's just a different viscosity. They still all have strong pigment loads to them. And then finally we have acrylic gouache. And acrylic gouache has the black cap as opposed to the white cap on the Soft Body range. Still's got that great nozzle. And it's got somewhat of a consistency, a low viscosity, like the Soft Body. And we can spread that out very much like that. Now here it's wet, right? So it looks very shiny. But once again, if we bring our dried example back in and we rotate that, you can see, especially if we compare it to Heavy Body and Soft Body, very, very matte finish with acrylic gouache. And that's where that name comes from. All of these are acrylic based, but we call this acrylic gouache because it has the opacity and that matte sheen that we note with a traditional watercolor based gouache, but it's very flexible, so there's no cracking. So again, think about what you're trying to achieve in your artwork and then start by choosing the viscosity and range and sheen that best suits your needs.